Hey guys, welcome back to the Community Cares Podcast. I'm Dave. I'm the Executive Director here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. In our last episode, you were introduced to Michael. Welcome back, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet is excited to have you. Thank you for being on board and being a part of what we're doing in the community.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for it too.
You know, you have that radio voice. Do you know that? Have you ever heard that before?
No, but don't tell me I have a face for radio because that would be offensive. I'll take the voice for radio though.
No, you have that voice. It's good. It's good. Yeah, today we have an awesome guest on, Jennifer. You've been on before.
I have.
Would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Jennifer Campbell. I'm the Executive Director of Doula Co-op of Nevada. And when I was on before, I was in private practice as a doula, where I have over 15 years experience working with pregnancy, moms, babies. I specialized in also, on top of being a birth doula, in bereavement, adoption, and surrogacy. I was the only doula in Northern Nevada prior to being the executive director that worked with women in the jail, domestic violence, and substance use disorders. So really, I think it's interesting you take what you're passionate about or what your experience is in your past and the career that you have and marry them. And it was really great and a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we have other people filling most of those roles now.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's great. And we're excited to have you back. Yeah, we've been on the air for almost 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And averaging around 2,000-ish people watching and listening. And we really appreciate you. Without you guys listening, watching, and sharing, this doesn't exist. And this is all in support of Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet and in support of other nonprofits and community figures. The idea is let's lift each other up. Let's have fun conversations and see what happens, right? Crazy thought. Let's work together.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's a bad plan. All right. So we're going to start with our sponsorship segment. Our first sponsor we're going to highlight is Furion. Are you a business in Reno searching for top talent or an individual looking for your next great career opportunity? Look no further than Furion Staffing. As the local experts in recruitment, Furion understands the unique needs of the Northern Nevada job market. They connect qualified candidates with the leading companies, ensuring the right fit every single time. Whether you need administrative support, light industrial staff, or professional hires, Furion takes the stress out of staffing. Call or text Furion today at 775-829-8367. You know, when you were looking for a job, Michael, you could have texted Spherian.
Dang it.
You missed the boat.
I totally
You missed out.
If you watched the Community Cares Podcast, you would have known that.
I did. Maybe you just didn't feature them on those episodes.
Oh, maybe not. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, now you're stuck here. Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, bummer. I'll reach out to them after this. Oh, no. So.
Our next sponsor we're going to highlight is Relentless Business Mastery. They are a Reno-based digital marketing agency specializing in services such as local SEO, web development, pay-per-click advertising, social media management, and business consulting. They focus on helping small businesses and entrepreneurs in the Reno-Sparks area enhance their online presence and attract more customers. The agency is led by Jason Messick and has received recognition for its impact on local businesses, particularly through tailored digital strategies and hands-on support. Isn't that crazy? They help Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet too.
Oh, all right.
So we really appreciate them. They do an excellent job, and they have clients all over. And Jason, the owner, is such a good guy. He's been at fundraisers and other things, and he's helped me set up chairs and tear them down. And then he also sponsors the Community Cares Podcast. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We would love to learn about the Doula Co-op, but the first question I have for you is kind of the history, the background of the organization. I think that's a really important starting point as we do these episodes, as we really dig into what is happening in the community and why. That history, that piece, why did it start, that kind of thing, is what I've found kind of educates our listeners on why you guys are doing what you're doing. So if you could start with that, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I wasn't there So this is third person, you know. Sue Foltz is one of the founders, and she worked back at Casa de Vida, which is no longer there, but it was a pregnancy support for women who could live there. And she actually became a doula through that process. When she was working with that nonprofit, some of the women asked her to be a doula, and so she thought, well, I should probably get training. And shortly after that, she met with 2 other doulas, and they became the 3 founders. It was the napkin in the coffee shop, writing down what it meant. And the mission is still pretty much the mission. I mean, we've changed some of the language a little bit, but the mission was underserved, marginalized communities. The women who can't afford, don't know what a doula is, don't know that it's possible to have one, don't understand what kind of support they could get. It's really working with those communities. It started out in Reno with birth doulas. Postpartum were added. That makes sense because birth doulas work with postpartum, not to the depth that a specifically trained postpartum doula does. And then we expanded to end-of-life doulas and statewide a couple of years ago. So we've been around for 4 years this June. June 29th was the 4-year anniversary. And I was involved from the inception and on the board when they had a board, and then applied to be the executive director a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's interesting. I remember Costa Vida, and they were really important for the community, and it was such a bummer when they had to close their doors.
Yeah.
We were actually in talks to try to help them at one point before everything closed down, and things didn't work, and that's how it rolls.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's still missed. It's still a gap in the community for sure. And it's definitely still missed. Yeah, sometimes unavoidable.
It really is. In having support from the community, a board that works together in harmony, all those things are really important.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that in our organizations, if we don't have the support, that real community support, it just doesn't work. Like, collaborating with nonprofits is really important, and if you're able to do that, if you're able to work with foundations, nonprofits on that synergy of the Reno Sparks community, if you're able to really get in there, then I find that a lot of nonprofits do a lot better. But
oh my gosh, so much better. I agree.
And when I started, there was definitely, when I started here at Good Shepherd, there was definitely a feeling of like us versus them.
Yes.
For a lot of nonprofits, it wasn't like, let's work together and let's all be friends. It was, if I get that grant, you don't get that grant. Or if you get that grant, I don't get that grant. Or if I get that support, you don't get that support financially, whatever it is. Which, I mean, there is maybe some truth to that, but I feel like that's based on fear and not really based on the reality.
What
I agree.
What do you guys think changed that dynamic?
I don't think it has completely changed. I think, when we've talked about being at tabling events, because you've had a lot of tabling events and baby fairs here, and I've attended those. And I think when you're talking to other vendors, the community partners here locally, really you can reach out to some nonprofits, and we all joke, it's like Mean Girls in high school, like you don't get a seat at that table. Wow. And those just aren't the right connections. So that's not a problem.
For sure.
Just do your thing and move on. But those of us who really want to connect and collaborate and support and be referral partners. Yeah. We created a resource list on our website within the last several months because people needed information. And you and I have talked about.
You're absolutely right.
They need the information. So will doulas use that? Will the community use that? Will other community partners use that? I want them all to use that, right? We need to connect with each other instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. And the other thing is that we can co-write.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out Chaz, what's our common denominator between your clothes and doulas? Yep. And figuring out, sometimes there's not. It's a square peg in a round hole. But anytime there is a connection where there's a common denominator, why aren't we co-writing a grant?
Yeah, why not?
We have a more solid grant. So
we've done a lot of co-grants and stuff, and we're always trying to make sure that we're moving the needle forwards with everything we do and try to work together. But I know what you're talking about, like at the fairs or whatever, and that's a big reason why this podcast actually came to be, was because what we realized was in those public settings where you're just meeting someone at a table, it's very different than getting them in here in the studio and having a longer form conversation with them. Because then I can really know your heart and why you're doing what you're doing. And that changes my perspective of you. And also probably helps me learn the different things you're doing that I didn't know about, right?
Right. Yeah, like you just told me about the mobile
micro closet.
micro closet. I mean, those are the things that are so exciting. I can send people to you all that I want. That's great. That's part of the picture. But you're right. When we meet even at vendors fairs, and I'll go to every table and say, Quest Counseling, what's new with you? And I pick them because specifically at a recent event, they were like, we have all these new programs. We've changed everything. And I was like, holy cow, we've got to meet.
Right.
So it's very fluid. This isn't static. We are constantly moving around. Yeah. So I try to meet with community partners as often as I possibly can. I think it's incredible.
That's good.
So speaking of getting to know somebody in long form conversation, what drew you into the world of being a doula, being that resource? I'm very curious about that.
I think most doulas start out in a similar way, and I'll tell you where I veered off. I was pregnant for the first time. I was married. He was in the Air Force. He wasn't there. I was 21. I'd gone through infertility. I mean, crazy to think of my age and what I went through. But this was a planned pregnancy. I went through a year of infertility. Wasn't sure I could have kids. Had a super rough pregnancy. Because he was gone in the military, I went back to where I lived, and I was seeing a midwife at a birth center. And at 37 plus weeks pregnant, she looked at me and she said, something's not right. Are you going to choose this hospital or this hospital? There was no choice of staying with her, which saved my daughter's life. She was asking me to choose where I was going to transfer care. And I was in New England, where I'm originally from, and I chose Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. Huge, overwhelming building, lots of medical students, residents. I mean, again, it saved my daughter. So I went into labor at this hospital, never met the OB, never been there. It's a little overwhelming. Don't have my husband with me. I had my mom, who was kind of crying in the corner. do not recommend that. I mean, she took great notes, and it was good, but that was tough.
Yeah.
And my 18-year-old sister, that's who was supporting me. So I had her. I had a natural labor and delivery. She was born. They told me when my daughter was born, they would evaluate her at the bedside, and that if they didn't think they could save her life, because we knew something wasn't right, but we didn't know what it was, they would hand her back to me and allow her to die in my arms. She's 34. Spoiler alert, everyone. She's 34 years old. She's great. It saved her.
Awesome.
But that they would probably take her and leave. And they did the bedside evaluation and left. And I heard nothing for 9 hours.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. And when the head neonatologist came in, she said, if we had known how sick your daughter was, we would have handed her back to you. She's the most critical of 29 babies, and she won't live through her first 3 days.
Oh.
Right. So
Jeez.
I get released 24 hours later, and I do not go to Ronald McDonald House because I'm not leaving that hospital to hold my daughter, right? So a nurse finds me at day 3. I'm trying to use a breast pump, which I've never seen in my life. I'm sleeping in the hallway. Nurse finds me, brings me to the nurse's room, gets me a shower, gets me a change of clothes, sits me down with a lactation consultant who shows me how to properly use a pump, hooks me up, and she touches me and she said, tell me about your birth.
Wow.
And I just started to sob because in 3 days, no one had asked me how I was.
Right.
I couldn't touch my daughter. I couldn't hold my daughter. Nothing. She was 4 pounds, 4 ounces, born with severe hyaline membrane disease, which is a lung disease, PDA, secondary pneumonia. I mean, it was like a mess. She did turn the corner on the 3rd night, and obviously she's 34, so she made it through. A year later, I was in birth work because I realized I had a very traumatic, super stressful experience.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon in labor and delivery, actually, to have something come up or to just feel traumatized by the lack of medical knowledge or the analysis paralysis, like you don't know what decisions to make because you don't understand what they mean. And I felt like I had a great experience, despite the fact that it was really hard and very traumatic. And I thought, well, if women had support,
Right.
like I didn't have. Wouldn't that be amazing? And that, so yeah, 33 years ago, I was in birth work, then took a break and worked in foster care for 15 years and then came back to birth work. So feel really blessed. And I picked my specialties because I did adoptions at birth, and I worked with surrogates, and I lost 3 pregnancies of my own. And so I took my personal experience and my work experience and added on certifications
Yes.
when I went back to birth work. So that's a long story of how I, we can edit that later.
No. I mean, keeping that was great.
But yeah, that's how I got into it. And most women do.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you what inspires you. I mean, that kind of sounds like it, but if you had to summarize, kind of like if we had that 5-second TikTok or whatever, what is the thing that inspires you to do what you do?
If women in pregnancy, labor and delivery, and postpartum had physical, emotional support and education to become their own advocates to make decisions, it would completely change the outcome of how they've experienced their birth.
Wow. Okay.
It's amazing.
Education.
Education is huge. I mean, if you don't know, you've had a baby 2 years ago. Like, if you don't know what things mean, how do you know how to make a decision?
That's very true. Like so much happens so quickly in the hospital.
Yes.
You're like, what did I just sign? Like, am I gonna get my kid back? My wife actually couldn't sleep if she knew. She said, Dave, I need you to go and follow the doctor. I want to see you have eyes on our baby. Okay.
Yeah.
You hear the horror stories, the baby's getting switched and all the other stuff or whatever.
Right.
I know it's not super common. That's why they're stories, right? It's because people are like, whoa, wow. But you hear them. And so there was a piece of her and fear. It's our first baby. And she's, gone through some trouble in the past. And so for her, having this baby after 10 years of marriage is like, it's kind of scary.
It is.
So,
and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be scary, and you shouldn't feel all of this overwhelm and trauma from making decisions about your body and your baby and your family. And doulas really bridge that gap predominantly in education.
Well, not only that, but you're coming into this already emotionally heightened situation and scenario of you've been pregnant, the time has come, and you also have a history before that of sometimes miscarriages, sometimes infertility. And that journey alone, my wife and I went through that. We had 2 miscarriages. It was devastating.
Yeah.
So you're carrying all of that into this already stressful situation to have somebody come alongside you and say, I'm here for you. Here's what we can do. It's amazing.
And just imagine if there's been past domestic violence, past sexual assault.
Right.
25% of women have experienced sexual assault.
Yeah.
There are so many insert thing here that women or like their partners might have experienced that kind of throws you in a whirlwind in this situation where you feel like you're being very inundated.
Yeah.
So doulas really bridge that gap. We're non-medical providers, so we're not making medical decisions. We're explaining them so you can advocate for yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress in our lives, like new employees that you hire that you don't know if they're going to work out or not. Or
tell me more.
Or presidents that don't show up to their podcast, all sorts of things. So we deal with all sorts of stress. And so we need these resources that are able to help us in things like pregnancy.
Right.
It really is crazy. All the things in life. Like, if you really think about this thing we do called life, and think about all the things that happens, it's not a straight arrow. This is how life is going to be for you.
No.
And I know we all know that, but I don't know if we all acknowledge it because we're all in the mess all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it gets pretty crazy with life. There are days where we pull our hair out because we're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Is this going to hurt my family?
Yeah.
Is this going to help my family? Do I want to give my kids these shots? Do I not want to give my kids these shots?
Right.
Do I want to... Because some voices are saying this is bad and some voices are saying this is good. And so to have these people in our lives, I call it, one of the things I call it is, for my life, is I have men in my life that are older and wiser than me. And I call them my wise counsel.
Yeah.
And they can say, they're the 3 or 4 guys in my life that if I go to them, and they know this, if I go to them and they call me an idiot, then I will listen.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
Not that that's ever happened.
not that that's ever happened. And I try to be as genuine as possible with these people. You know, sometimes it's hard in the situation, but to have people in our lives like a doula, to someone that could say, hey, you know what, this is what this is. I'm going to tell you in the layman's term. I'm not going to give you doctor mumbo jumbo on how to make your decisions or not, because it was scary. When you're having a kid, it's scary.
Yeah, not only that, but I'm sure it's helpful. It was helpful for me to have somebody kind of voice the thoughts that I'm having and say, you're not crazy. You're not, When I went through this, I was thinking A, B, and C, and you feel like, oh, okay, I'm not the worst person in the world.
Right.
I'm not the first person to think this. Like, to have you come alongside and say, yeah, here, when I was going through something similar, here's what I was thinking, here's what I was feeling. So I guess there's that personal connection that really helps you get through.
There is, and like the pregnant woman, I need to have a connection with her, right?
Yes.
She's the one in labor, but she goes into labor, which takes a tremendous amount of focus. And although we're helping her physically, emotionally, we're talking about decisions and stuff, I really valued my connection with her partner, because we're the team helping her.
Totally.
You know your wife intimately in a way I never will, and I know birth in a way that you never will. And so we make a really great team.
Yes.
And that's really what doulas can come in and do.
Man, we should have got one of those machines, those birthing machines for guys.
Yes.
We've done that on the show.
Oh my gosh, I'll come
Put
back.
Michael on. I'm not doing
I'm the
it.
tribute, yeah.
Michael has to do it.
I've done it a few times in real life, so I'm not doing it.
My wife has said that a few times when I've joked about pregnancy stuff, which you should never do. Husbands.
Don't
ever do it. I did it anyway.
Never.
And she said, I'm going to get you that birthing machine.
Yeah.
And she was serious.
No, I think
I was
you should come
terrified.
in with me and we should hook up.
Oh, no. Oh, no. But she watches the show. You better look out.
She
She'll
can
take you
contact
seriously.
me. Yeah.
She's like, all right. So why is Doula Co-op called Doula Co-op? What makes it a co-op, and how did that name come about?
Well, again, I wasn't there for that, but it is a cooperative. So we're not an agency. Every doula is their own business. They run their own business. They have autonomy. The co-op kind of helps give them the education and support that they need to work with the underserved, marginalized communities that we focus on. So whether it's birth, postpartum, or end of life, whether that means like workforce development, CPR classes, but really it's a cooperative. That's what the name is. We are better in community.
Okay, so each person is individual.
Correct.
Now, to be a part of the Doula Co-op, do you have to have certain certifications? Do you have to have a certain amount of years, or is there any requirements, or just you're a doula? How
You usually have gone through training.
Okay.
But if not, we also have our own internal training, and we run workforce development grants with that. So
That's cool.
Yes and no. You have to be 18 with a high school diploma, graduation, GED, something. That's a requirement to take doula certification. And then you can join, and we have a free tier. And we have a free tier because if you're learning about it, or you're building a business, or you're not ready to be part of the programs, but you want to be part of the co-op, then you can do that. You have the ability to do that. Come to our meetings, get the newsletters, be connected with people, have your questions answered. It's limited because it's a free tier. And then we have 2 additional tiers, and one of them is $75 a year. It gets you listed on the website. You can go to the farmer's market and give your business cards out, things like that. And then the top tier is only for Northern Nevada, because we have 2 programs within Renown Medical Center, the Doula Access Program and the Shift Program. And so unless you live here and you want to be part of that program, you don't need to pay extra to be part of that.
Okay.
So I tried to break down the tiers so it was open for anyone. And it also gave more ability for me to give people scholarships if the fee to be a member of the co-op is something that they can't afford. So it just gave me more leverage having the tiers.
That's cool. Do you guys have any future or vision for the Doula Co-op?
Yeah, like I mentioned, workforce development, that's huge. We need more doulas trained. And then I also have Medicaid workshops to help doulas become Medicaid providers. I have, I've written, as of this morning, today, I've written 9 grants in the past few months. So birth doulas are covered by Medicaid. If you don't qualify for Medicaid, you're paying out of pocket. So there are a lot of people that are uninsured or, can't afford a doula. And so I write grants in the hopes that for postpartum and end of life, as well as birth, we can get funding so that we can match the clients that really need these doulas and can't afford them with the doulas who would like to grow their businesses. And basically they would be independent contractors for the co-op to work. So that's something we're always trying to expand. I want to do a lot more expansion into rural Nevada. If there are people who want to become doulas in rural Nevada, I am there for it. I can help you with that. And our scholarships don't just pay for the doula training. It's also the Nevada Certification Board. We pay for several of the fees that you have throughout that beginning of your journey to start your business.
Wow.
So we really try to help. A lot of these are all mostly young moms, single women, a lot of single moms, and they can't put a lot out at the time that they're building a business. And again, we also have partnership. We have the partnership with Renown, 2 programs with them. Right now, the Doula Access Program is where Renown trains the doula. Kind of, if you're doing a home birth, I come to your house and you show me your home, right? Renown is showing us their home. They put us through this training where they show us, it gives us the ability to be with our own clients at the hospital and be in the operating room and all the supply closets. They consider us nurse extension. So it just means we've gone through the Renown training to be part of the care team with our own clients. And then we've expanded that. In February 2025, Renown asked us to apply for the Partners in Progress grant, which they awarded us in July last year, a year ago. And we have had doulas on shift.
Wow.
So that grant covers 6 out of 14 shifts a week. And we have doulas there, 6 10-hour shifts a week, and they'll work with anyone who needs a doula at no charge to the patients.
Wow.
So I think my vision is to do a lot more of what we've already done well, expand those services. Yeah.
I think my last question, and Michael, if you have questions afterwards, let me know. I'd love to have you jump in again. Is when someone's selecting a doula, because they're all independent contractors, how does someone really decide who they're going to select, and how does the co-op kind of help with that?
We're not an agency, but I do get a lot of referrals in, and essentially I'm encouraging you and your wife, right, to look at the profiles of the doulas that are on there. Contact them. A consultation is no charge. It's via Zoom. We just do a video meeting, and you figure out, like, is this the person you want there for literally one of the most intimate, special things you're ever going to go through in your life. Right. The doulas in this community also are great because there have been lots of times where one of the doulas is like, I want you to contact Samantha. I'll be your doula, but I really feel like once you meet with Sam, you're going to click so well that that's going to be the doula you choose.
That's cool.
So we really are not competitive against each other. We really back each other up, and we really want every client to have the right fit. So the best thing to do is to interview them. I still have my website from when I was in private practice, and on that, it's doulainreno.com. You can put in your email and download I did a guide to find the perfect doula, basically. And it's a whole bunch of questions to ask your doula.
Oh, cool.
And when I was in private practice, people were like, I've got some questions. And I'm like, you're using my guide. This is awesome. I know these questions.
I love it.
But it's great because sometimes you just don't know what to ask or like,
exactly.
How do I know?
Yeah.
So I still have that on my website. But basically, what is their philosophy? What is their theory? What do they think their strengths are?
Yeah,
no one's ever asked me where I've gotten my training. I have tons of it. I could just pass out all my certifications because you're already talking to someone who's been trained. That's not the issue. For women who cannot find a doula for their due date, I also created something called the First Birth Program. So doulas who are newly trained, they're fully trained, but they have to have one birth, a first birth, to go through the Nevada certification board because it has to be a documented birth. So I'll match them up so it's still no charge to the client, and the doula gets the birth that they need to get through the Medicaid provider process. So there are lots of ways that I can match people up when people are looking.
That's important.
But they really need to have an interview and see, is this the person I want walking into the room with me?
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Michael, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I'm curious about, on the other side, somebody who wants to step into and be a doula. What are some challenges or barriers to stepping into that role that you've encountered, that you've helped people through?
It's your own business. So you are starting a brand new business.
Right.
You
Super
need,
easy.
we have a guide. Like, just go down each of the steps in this guide, to get you have to have a business license. You have to have city and county licenses. You have to have CPR. We try to mitigate some of those costs in our scholarships. And when we can't, really, it's probably $1,000 to $1,300 a year at most for liability insurance, for everything. So it's one client a year pays for your business.
Wow.
So that's a good thing. The bad thing is that you're a brand new business. So do you need a website and social media and to put things out there and to show up at baby fairs or become a Medicaid provider? And it's really just launching their own business, while often many people who are doulas are also working a part or full-time job while this is building. So I think the building phase is probably the toughest barrier. Is just getting enough clients where then you can sustain it.
And I imagine that building phase is where a lot of people seek support and community from. And
we have it. We've got it.
Yeah, okay.
Are you thinking about becoming a doula?
No, not at all. I would not be gifted in that. My wife, she gave birth to both of our daughters at home. And the first time afterwards, I was like, I am convinced that you're like Rambo. That was the most insane thing. I was terrified. I was crying more than she was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's normal.
Yeah. Salute. Hats off to all the moms because, wow. Yeah, but definitely not Dave. That's not my world, man.
All right, you're here. That's good. I'm just checking. Asking a lot of business questions. So.
Right.
But that is a barrier. The training is intense, but fun and great.
Right.
And, it's 2 or 3 months of your life, but launching a business is hard.
I imagine, you hit these walls in trying to build something, and if you don't have support, it's kind of easy to just shrink back and say, it's not really worth it.
Yep.
But on the flip side, also, if you've got a story where you've had the experiences like maybe you have, that can help, that passion can help push you through. You just need people around you to say, keep going. I've been there. Right.
And we do that. And also encouraging doulas to become Medicaid providers. 55% of pregnant women in the state have Medicaid.
Yeah.
Yep. So if we can get more Medicaid providers, which the MCOs really, really need, and I pay somebody to help take you through that process of becoming a Medicaid provider and through the Nevada Certification Board platform, which is amazing. That's not hard, but to get you through this process, we're there to help with that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, how can people support you or financially or help spread the word about the Doula Co-op? Why don't you share with our audience, and if they're interested in helping, how can they?
We have a donate button on our website, so people can go on and donate. Anytime you want, you can go on and donate. It's kind of like being at the bank where you have to give your ID for a deposit. I'm like, you can let anyone come in and give deposits in my bank account. Don't ask for ID. You can donate just anytime. But I really like to know who you are when you're donating. I really love the connection and the collaboration, that piece, the community. I really love it. Yeah. So you can also get in touch. The contact form on the doulacoop.org website comes straight to my email. So I'm the only one that's going to see that contact form. There are lots of ways to support. Financially, obviously, is a huge one. Yes. I can't even tell you how much I want unrestricted funds to be able to do all the nooks and crannies of grant funding.
Yep.
So absolutely don't hesitate to reach out and either just get in touch and meet with me or click that donate button.
Love it. All right. Well, if you want to learn more about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, please visit getclothes.org. We give away free clothes to those in need here in Sparks, Nevada, Eddie House, Bristol Cone, all over the place. The CARES campus. It's all about clothes here, and we're giving it away for free. And we also do the Community Cares podcast here at the store. If you'd like a tour, if you'd like to learn more, please visit getclothes.org. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer.
Thank
you, Michael, for co-hosting.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer.
We help over 800 people a month, no matter what. We're asking you to come alongside and help one. All right, guys, thank you so much. See you next week.